Tuckman's third phase throughout this process, which is generally in months 5 and 6, which would be December and January, is the norming phase. And throughout this phase, it's really important that you make time for the students to really begin to dig deeper into their own personal lives and also dig deeper into understanding the organization, understanding what His House Christian Fellowship is all about. Perhaps as an example for His House Christian Fellowship during this phase, the norming phase of Tuckman's theory, this phase would have the opportunity to possibly have a retreat, a weekend retreat that allows the students within His House Christian Fellowship to get away from campus. It gives them the opportunity to really reflect on their own personal lives. It's perhaps a Christ-centered weekend that allows them to focus on themselves a little bit and where they are at in their lives, but also gives them the opportunity to really begin to dig deeper into their own relationships that they're beginning, their own friendships that they're beginning to form within this organization. It gives the opportunity for the students to get a little bit away from the university, and also to connect with maybe one or two students and start building more of those deeper friendships with a few select students that they desire to get to know on a more personal level or a deeper level at that point. The norming phase is also generally the phase where your organization may begin to implement a new idea or something that's been in the works, but you've been waiting until this time to begin that process. For His House Christian Fellowship, this may be the time that you begin to have small groups. Perhaps you've started with large group formatting where on a weekly basis you're meeting as a large group, but you understand during the norming phase that it's really important for students to begin to get to know each other a little bit more, and small groups allow that opportunity to exist. Small groups would allow the students to be in a smaller group, be in an atmosphere where they feel like they can be a little bit more open if they're typically a little more closed during the large group sessions. This could be, for His House Christian Fellowship, the idea of having small group Bible studies. Those Bible studies would be throughout campus at different locations, so they'd be different times would work for different students within the organization. When you're advising a large organization like His House Christian Fellowship, where maybe you have in the range of 70 to 80 students that are consistently coming to your large group formatting, it's really important that you don't lose track of what additional events can we have that will allow this group to grow closer to each other on a more personal basis that the large group format would typically not allow. As an advisor during this stage, one thing you need to make sure is that you're motivating your exec board, you're motivating your members of the organization. A lot of times when you're implementing a new part of your program, when you're implementing small group Bible studies, when you're implementing a new phase, the students really need to feel like they're doing a good job. They need to feel like they're being motivated by you, that this is theirs. This is theirs to take on, this is theirs to initiate, and this is theirs to see through. You also need to make sure that the initiatives that they're coming up with or bringing to the table are still centered on the vision and the purpose and the goals of the organization itself. The weekend retreat allows the opportunity for you to be a reflective agent. It'll give members the opportunity to reflect on themselves, reflect on the organization, perhaps come to you and want to reflect on some of the areas in which they've seen growth in throughout these different phases. So it's very important to be a motivator during this time. Understand that students can lose the drive sometimes to want to see the plan set forth. So how can you motivate them? How can you encourage them and keep them set forth on that drive to see these new initiatives taking place?